Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon everyone and welcome to my presentation. First of all, let me thank you for watching this video. My name is Lufthia. I am a lecturer at Economic and Business Faculty Universitas Islam Bandung, West Java, Indonesia. At this opportunity, I want to present my research, Abnormal Return of Indonesian Sharia Stock Index during the Presidential Inauguration 2019, which is submitted to Social and Humanities Research Symposium or SoRes 2020 that is organized by Universitas Islam Bandung. My presentation divided into 4 main sessions. Firstly, the introduction. Secondly, the method. The third, the result. And finally, the conclusion. It will take about 10 minutes to cover these issues, and I will begin with introduction. Introduction, the background. During the demo period, from 23 September to the 7th day of the inauguration of the President and Vice President, the capital markets tended to show negative reactions. Majority stocks experience price decline, which also reduces returns. The inefficiency of the Indonesian capital market can even be seen from the reaction of the capital market before the ISSI was launched, where there is a change in stock returns that tend to be abnormal. Yanti 2012. The political event of the 2019 presidential inauguration has quite influenced the movement of stock returns in the Indonesian capital market. The formulation of the problem discussed in this study is there a tendency for abnormal return on the Indonesian Sharia Stock Index during the inauguration of the 2019 President? This study is in line with Bandung 1995, Hamid et al. 2010, Sharma and Wongbangpo 2002, and Agarwal et al. 2009, which states that the Indonesian capital market is inefficient and investors always have the opportunity to benefit because of these conditions. The hypothesis of this research is that there is a tendency for abnormal returns during the 2019 presidential inauguration. Political attitudes or events in abnormal return model can affect the movement of securities returns, and it can be measured using the event study, Hartono 2017. Abnormal return or excess return is the excess of return that actually occurs against normal return. Results and discussion. Initial data obtained were in the form of the price of 391 shares that matched the sample criteria, and after entering the return calculation, 19 companies were stagnant so that they were excluded from the sample. The first step in calculating the abnormal return on the ISSI is to calculate the common return as a whole. The expected return expected by ISSI investors is calculated in advance so that the standard deviation is obtained, which will be part of the regression component. The sensitivity of each issuer to event of the presidential inauguration is calculated using this formula method. Results and discussion about the movement of abnormal return in every sector. In the agriculture sector, there are 9 issuers. The graphic of the calculation of abnormal return in the agriculture sector is shown below. The lowest return on AALI occur on 24 October, but ANGT and DSFY experienced the lowest abnormal return conditions at the same time, so the graphical shapes were similar to one another. It is seen that many companies have responded to the 2019 presidential inauguration as an abnormal condition, so that several days experienced an extreme decline in returns both before and after the 2019 presidential inauguration. This movement of abnormal return of ISSI shares in the consumer good industry sector, there are 33 issuers. So I divide it into 4 parts. The graphic form of the calculation of abnormal return in the consumer good industry sector is as shown in the pictures below. At ADES, the lowest return occurred on 12 October. In BTIK and CHAMP, the lowest abnormal return condition occurred at the same time, so that the graphic shapes were similar to one another. It can be seen that many companies have responded to the 2019 presidential inauguration as an abnormal condition, so that several days of experiencing extreme decline in returns both before and after the 2019 presidential inauguration. The fourth is the movement of the abnormal return of ISSI stocks in the finance sector. In the finance sector, there are three issuers, namely BRIS, BTPS, and JEMAS. At the beginning of the emergence of ISSI, there was no finance sector because it was most sensitive to the provisions of transactions that were prohibited according to Fiqh Muamalah. BRIS became the first issuer of Sharia bank to successfully pass the ISSI tight screening. BTPS and JEMAS then joined the ISSI finance sector, which proved that the three of them were issuers that were free from usury. The graphic form of the calculation of abnormal return in the finance sector is as shown below. At BRIS, the lowest return occurred on 24 October. At BTPS, the lowest abnormal return condition occurred on the 18th and 24 October. Meanwhile, in JEMAS, the abnormal return fell very low on October 30, but the increase on November 1 was even higher than that of BRIS and BTPS, which reached 0.25 points. The movement of the abnormal return of ISSI stocks in the mining sectors. In the mining sectors, there are 29 issuers. So I divide it into 4 parts. The graphic form of the calculation of abnormal return in the mining sector is as shown in the pictures below. At ADRO, the lowest return occurred on 12 October. In BRMS and BYAN, the lowest abnormal return condition occurred at the same time, so that the graphic shapes were similar to one another. It can be seen that many companies have responded to the 2019 presidential inauguration as an abnormal condition, so that several days experienced an extreme increases in returns both before and after the 2019 presidential inauguration. Is movement of the abnormal return of ISSI stocks in the property, real estate, and building construction sector. In the property, real estate, and building construction sector, there are 61 issuers. So I divide it into 7 parts. The graphic form of the calculation of abnormal returns in the property, real estate, and building construction sectors is as seen in the pictures below. At ACST, the lowest return occurred on 24 October. In CSIS and DILD, the lowest abnormal return condition occurred at the same time, so that the graphs are similar to one another. It can be seen that many companies have responded to the 2019 presidential inauguration as an abnormal condition, so that several days experienced an extreme increase in returns both before and after the 2019 presidential inauguration. The last one is the movement of the abnormal return of ISSI stocks in trade, service, and investment sectors. In the trade, service, and investment sector, there are 107 issuers. So I divide it into 12 parts. The graphic form of the calculation of abnormal returns in the trade, service, and investment sectors is as shown in the pictures below. At ERTA, the lowest return occurred on October 24. In BOLA and CSAP, the lowest abnormal return condition occurred at the same time, so that The graphical shapes were similar to one another. It can be seen that many companies have responded to the 2019 presidential inauguration as an abnormal condition, so that several days experienced an extreme increase in returns, both before and after the 2019 presidential inauguration. The conclusion of this study is that there is a tendency to abnormal returns on the Indonesian Sharia stock index during the inauguration of the president and vice president of 2019. This research only focuses on stock movement without further deepening the condition of each entity. In addition, further research should examine the religious preference of investors investing in ISSI because investor preference affects stock prices and subsequently stock returns. Thank you for watching my presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.